19 minutes, you can mow the front lawn, color your hair, watch a third of a hockey game. In 19 minutes, you can read a story to a child, have your oil changed.
You can walk a mile.
In 19 minutes, you can stop the world. Or you can just jump off.
In 19 minutes, you can get revenge.
In 2015, there are 372 mass shootings in the United States, killing 475 people and wounding 1,807.
Of those mass shootings, 64 were in schools, killing 35 and wounding another 66 students and teachers.
In an article in Scientific American entitled Deadly Dreams, writer Frank J. Roberts lists many reasons for the recent rise in school violence.
1. School shooters often come from violent or dysfunctional households and have often intimated their plans with others.
2. School shooters are often bullied or ignored in school and see their violent actions as a cry for help or call for respect.
3.
School shooters often have distorted thoughts and dreams that involve violent actions and gruesome images.
4.
School shooters can be anyone.
19 minutes.
An interpretive theater performance featuring
Rifle by Rudy Francisco.
Chorus 58 by Saul Williams,
Static by Sierra DeMolden.
all unfolded around excerpts from the novel 19 Minutes.
By Jody Picoult.
Patrick sat in his unmarked police car and fiddled with the volume button of the dispatch radio just in time to hear shots fired.
The light turned green, but Patrick didn't move. The discharge of a gun in the small town of Sterling was rare enough to narrow his attention to the voice on the dispatch radio. He waited for an explanation.
Shots fired at the high school.
The dispatcher's voice was getting faster and more intense. Patrick wheeled the car in a U-turn and headed towards the school with the lights flashing.
Shots fired at Sterling High.
Other voices began to transmit in static bursts. Officers stated their positions in town, the on-duty supervisor trying to coordinate manpower and calling for mutual aid from Hanover and Lebanon. Their voices nodded and tangled so that everything and nothing was being said at once. Do we have any other officers? Finally, the dispatcher said,
Signal 1000, signal 1000.
in Patrick's entire career as a detective, he'd only heard that call twice. Signal 1000 meant that everyone, immediately, was to get off the radio and leave them free for dispatch. It meant that what they were dealing with wasn't routine police business. It meant life and death,
Well, Sterling isn't the inner city.
Patrick thought.
You don't find crack dealers on Main Street or households below the poverty line. The crime rate is virtually non-existent. How could it happen here?
How could it not happen here? All it takes is a troubled kid with access to guns.
You don't have to go to an inner city to find someone who meets that criteria. You only have to open your eyes. The next likely candidate might be upstairs or sprawled out in front of a TV right now.
But hey, just go on pretending it don't happen here. Tell yourself that you're immune because of where you live or who you are.
It's easier that way, isn't it?
You can feel people stare.
One of my earliest memories begins with me trying to grab something off the coffee tube.
By the time I knew it was out of my reach, my body had already bought a one-way ticket to the floor. That day I realized when you hit the ground hits you back.
It's like a heat that rises from the pavement during summer, like a poker in the small of your back. You don't have to hear a word to know it's about you.
My father watches. I am a car accident he is not involved in.
He doesn't bother asking if I'm okay. Instead, his words are cobblestone. In November, he said,
Get up!
and then leaves the room.
I picked my face from the carpet and pretended I was someone who didn't need a hug. This is the only time I've talked about it since.
Sometimes the hardest secrets to keep are the ones you don't know who you're hiding from.
I used to stand in front of the mirror in the bathroom to see what they were looking at. I wanted to know what made their heads turn, what it was about me that was so incredibly different. At first, I couldn't tell. I mean, I was just me.
When I was 6, my brother taught me how to throw a punch.
apologize for making them uncomfortable.
Every time I hear I love you, I put a question mark at the end.
Then one day when I looked in the mirror, I understood. I looked into my own eyes, and I hated myself, maybe as much as all of them did.
I'm an awful mechanic, but somehow I'm still better at fixing cars than relationships. I've punched holes in the walls, but the ones built around me are still in perfect condition.
We raise our boys the same way we raise our guns.
That was the day I started to believe they might be right.
Look at me now. I am finally a rifle. Patrick pulled halfway onto the sidewalk and grabbed his bulletproof vest from the back of the car. Already adrenaline pulsed through him, making the edges of his vision swim and his senses more acute.
Chaos was a constellation of students, running out of the school and trampling the injured. A boy was holding a handmade sign in an upstairs window that read, "Help us."
Two girls are hugging each other and sobbing. Chaos was blood melting pink on the snow. It was the drip of parents that turned into a raging river and then a stream screaming out the names of their missing children. Patrick finds Chief O'Rourke in the middle of the melee and he says,
We don't know what we're dealing with yet. SOU's on the way.
Patrick didn't give a damn about the Special Operations Unit. By the time the SWAT team got there, a bunch more shots might be fired. A kid might be killed. He drew his gun.
I'm going in.
The hell you are, that's not
There's no freaking protocol for this. You can fire me later.
Patrick raced up the steps of the school, fire alarms blaring so loud that he had to strain to hear the gunshots. He grabbed the coat of a boy streaking past.
Who is it? Who is shooting?
The boy shook his head, speechless, and wrenched away. Patrick watched him run breezily down the hall, open the door, and burst into a rectangle of sunlight.
Students fumbled around Patrick as if he were a stone in a river. Smoke billowed and burned his eyes. Patrick heard another staccato of gunshots, and had to restrain himself from running towards the flag. He cried at a girl running by.
How many of them?
I don't know. The boy beside her turned around and looked at Patrick, torn between offering knowledge and getting the hell out of there. It's a kid! He's shooting everyone!
Hammer strike, flintlock, we explode out the gate. So this is what it means to begin. To spring towards something. We didn't know about discipline then. We had waffle irons. We were vulcanized. We stayed away from the jet stream, the inauthentic air. That throb in our feet meant that this year will be different.
Dear Peter, you don't know me by name, but I was number 9. That's how I left the school with a big magic marker with a wiggle on my forehead. You tried to kill me. Don't try looking for me at your trial because I'm not there. I couldn't stand to be in that town anymore, so my parents moved a month ago. I started school here in a week without Minnesota. Already people have heard about me. I don't have a personality. I don't have any interests. I don't even have a history. Except for the one that you gave me.
We've got a heart and 2 entire lungs in our feet. Skin stretched, staggered around in the gradient pattern. We want to see a rib cage. We want to see a roll cage. We want to negotiate the working parts. To hear it in our sockets, our joints, the snapping into place. Our bodies lace fluffed, secured with debt cord.
I had a 4.0 average, but I don't really care much about grades anymore. What's the point? I used to have dreams, but now I don't even know if I'll go to college, considering I still can't sleep through the night. I can't deal with people who sneak up behind me, or doors that slam really loudly, or fireworks. I've been in therapy long enough to tell you one thing. I'm never going to set foot in Sterling ever again.
We want to burn without impact. To feel a breeze as it fans the flames. To grip cactus with our fingers, neon green, total orange. We want force and we'll get it. This is Boomtown. Everyone runs. And we're not sure it's even healthy anymore. The running. Because we accuse each other of avoidance, but our accusations are made over our left shoulders as we run away from us.
You shot me in the back. The doctors say I'm lucky that if I had sneezed or turned to look at you, I would be in a wheelchair right now. Instead, I just have to deal with the people who stare when I forget and put on a tank top. Anyone can see the scars from the bullet and the chest tube and the stitches
our chins towards other people. We tried to look cool, but we know that what we did was displace particles.
I was in your French class. Did you know that? I sat in the row by the window second from the back. I always thought you were mysterious, and I liked your smile. I would have liked to be a friend.
Thank the neon bubble that reads 25 psi. Thank the gentle circulation of air for the first time forefront. Thank the things we are running away from.
Sincerely, Angela.
Patrick pushes against the tide streams, a salmon swimming upstream. Homework papers scatter on the floor, shell casings rolling beneath the heels of his shoes, ceiling tiles shot off the wall, leaving a fine rickle of dust on the broken bodies laying twisted on the floor.
Patrick ignores all of this, running through the hallways that seem to circle on each other.
Where?
He bites out every time he passes a fleeing student, his only tool of navigation.
Patrick sees sprays of blood and students crumpled on the ground. He does not let himself look twice. He pounds at the main stairway, and just as he reaches the top, a door cracks open.
Patrick rolls, pointing his gun, as a young female teacher falls to her knees with her hands raised. Behind the white oval of her face are 12 others, featureless and frightened. He lowers his gun.
Go.
Turning the corner, Patrick slips on some blood and hears another gunshot, this one loud enough to ring his ears. He sweeps into the double doors of the gymnasium and sees a handful of bodies sprawled out on the floor. But no shooter.
He hears another shot, this time from the locker room. He edges his way around the corner wall. 2 bodies lay unmoving at one end of the locker room, at the other. A slight boy is crouching beside a bank of lockers. He is wearing horn-rimmed glasses. One hand is shivering.
Are you okay?
Patrick whispers. He does not want to speak too loudly in the boy's position to the shooter. The boy only blinks at him.
Where is he?
The boy pulls a pistol from beneath his thigh and holds it up to his own head.
Don't move! Drop the gun or I will shoot!
Sweat breaks out in Patrick's back and forehead as he feels his hands on the grip of the gun, determined to lace the kid with bullets if he has to. Patrick lets his finger brush against the trigger. The boy opens his hand like a starfish. The pistol falls to the floor and skitters across the tile.
Are you alone? Who is with you?
Just me.
Patrick retrieves the weapon, drops the boy onto his stomach, and cuffs him, pressing his knee hard into the boy's spine.
Sterling, we have one in custody. We don't have knowledge of anyone else.
Somehow, there is silence.
People are running, their mute eyes panicking like deer who have never seen the oncoming glare of
Judgment!
By the time you read this, I hope to be dead.
A single red flower blooms in the center of her shirt.
She finally looks sickly.
Rewind 1 week.
You can't undo something that's been done. You can't take back a word that's already been said out loud.
She sits in front of you in science and smells like ice cream.
Wonder if she even knows your name.
Wonder if she would ever notice her thimble of existence.
You'll think about me and wish that you could have tried to talk me out of this. You'll try to think of what would have been the one right thing to say, to do.
To them, you are nothing but the skin knees of the student body.
They will read about you.
The ones who are lucky, who will see death but not
How you walk like a god, unnoticed among them.
Plant a revolution for your fingers.
What pulses like arrows from bows.
Rewind 1 week.
I guess I should tell you, don't worry about it, it's not your fault, but that would be a lie. We both know I didn't get here by myself.
A Sharpie in the boys' bathroom screams hollow point prophecies.
It goes unnoticed. You go unnoticed. Stepped over in the hall like broken glass.
You count how many people make eye contact, and you don't make it to your second hand.
Rewind 1 week.
You'll cry at my funeral. You'll say it didn't have to be this way. You'll act like everyone expects you to.
The whole world is sleeping.
You are wrapped in a straitjacket of alarm clocks and school bells.
The only one conscious in a city built of zombies. Rewind 1 week.
When I was little, I used to pour salt on slugs. I like to watch them
Imagine each of them crying.
You tell her her photograph to go to hell!
There's a word we learned in social studies. Schadenfreude. It's when you enjoy the suffering of others. The real question, though, is why. I like to think it's just a matter of self-preservation. You pretend to hate something more than you hate yourself.
Fast forward 4 weeks.
This is hell! Everybody's down!
6, 7, rewind 8 days.
You wonder if heaven exists or if it's just some Santa Claus to make you sleep at night and be nice to others.
Fast forward 7 days. She catches you staring.
Calls you a freak. You forget what it's like to feel anything but fire.
The hallway's loud. The lockers punch back.
Do you know why salt works on slugs? It's because it dissolves in the water that's in the slug's skin. So it all comes pouring out. And this works with snails, too. And with people. Like me. Anything really too thin-skinned to stand up for itself.
Fast forward 1 day.
You drag your weapon from your belt.
The hallway stopped laughing.
The wax smiles start melting. The sound of gunshots does not scare you.
The satisfaction does. You count shells in your head.
Fallen bodies out loud.
This is their alarm clock. This is natural selection.
This is survival.
You rewind. The trigger pushes your finger forward.
The bullet comes spiraling back into the mouth of its barrel.
Single red flower buildings. Center her ship. She finally looks at me.
In 19 minutes, you can row the front line.
Color your hair. Much a third of a hockey